So welcome. Thank you guys for joining us today. We're starting off this Kyber Monday video with an interview with the founders of Tinkerers Cove, Korey and Sarah. We are going to do an unboxing, bagging, whatever you want to call it, of their newest release that they've sent me. We're going to take a look at that and see what exactly it is they have for us. So stick around. We'll be right back with that next. So welcome back. Thank you for joining us today. And like I said a few minutes ago, we do have the founders of Tinkerers Cove here with us, Korey and Sarah, and we're going to be looking at their new stuff and see what it is they've got. We're going to talk to them and see where their ideas come from and just get some background on them, where they started and all that. So let me go ahead and just, let's jump right to it and talk to them and see what we've got. So, welcome, Korey and Sarah. How are y'all doing?
We are doing great.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks for having us on here.
I'm happy to have y'all. I know this is the first chance we've really had to sit down and talk on video. I know we had that chance. I guess it was back in November at one of the saber meetups where we got to hang out for a little while and got to see you guys. Get engaged. It was awesome to be there for that. I loved it, and I thank you again for letting my wife and I participate in that. That was very special to us to be able to see that.
Absolutely. It was great the way it all came together, and really appreciate you capturing that for us.
Yeah,
not a problem. It was my pleasure. So let's just kind of get into where, how did you guys start? What made you decide to start making Kybers?
So eons ago, it feels like now.
Yeah.
It was kind of when we were first dating, and I had been telling him, hey, I love Disney, Galaxy's Edge. Do you love Star Wars? That's so awesome. Have you ever been? And he's like, no, I don't think I'm going to do Galaxy's Edge. I don't think it's going to work. So down the line, pre-COVID, for, I guess it was our first Christmas, I got him tickets, and I said, all right, we're just going to go, and we'll see if you like it, and we never have to go again. Humor me. He had his annual pass before the end of the first day.
Yeah.
So we just fell in love with it, and that was late 2020. Next thing we know, we had gone a couple times, and then COVID hits, and we ended up quarantining together, both working from home, and we were bummed because we were supposed to take my oldest son the week everything shut down, I think, right? It was our spring break.
Yeah, it was right. Because we were actually scheduled the week they closed.
Yep, we were going to go spend a week down at Galaxy's Edge, and then the world shut down. And so we said, well, guess we'll just not do it, and maybe we can just play around with some stuff ourselves as quarantine kind of dragged on. And I wonder how they make the Kyber crystals. I wonder if we could make our own molds. And we kind of did it the hard way, starting with molds first and making clay models and figuring out 7 different kinds of silicone and doing everything backwards. And then after we had done a whole bunch of research, figured out there's a whole community of people out there who are doing it, and just kind of dove in from there.
Yeah, it was, as any good project starts, it's like, this is really cool. And then about 5 minutes later, it's like, I probably shouldn't take this apart just yet, right? I wonder what else it can do. And, it just kind of bugged us. Yeah.
Can we do that? We could do that.
We can do that.
Yeah, we can totally do that.
Yeah, and it was a trip over to Michael's to grab just a box kit of resin and silicone, and then shortly after learned the difference between the tin cured and platinum cured and why that matters. And just kind of dared ourselves into figuring out what makes it work. And then that led to posting some pictures very nervously, and then people liked it. It's like, well, let's see if anyone buys them. And that first it's rough to go back and look at. That first 5 that we did, they were gone within 24 hours. It was crazy.
And of course, our first ones, we were like, let's throw some stuff in here. We'll do inclusions. We'll do triple pours. Because why not? We didn't know that it was going, like, we were doing it the hardest way possible. But that's, we are never, we get bored easily. And so we are always looking for new challenges and new things to teach ourselves because we don't know how to sit still. And just kind of dove in without kind of realizing what it would turn into. It was just something that we wanted to try to teach ourselves while we had some spare time on our hands.
Great.
It was one day she came home. She's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "I'm just on the FCC database looking through here to see if I can figure out which chips were used. Nothing big." And that just kind of.
And then, a month later, a 3D printer showed up, and he taught himself how to do that, and learned all the modeling, and just kind of
been there, done that.
Yep.
It just kind of spiraled. We don't really know how we ended up here, but here we are.
Hey, you know what? and I'm glad you guys did that, because I've seen a lot of the stuff that you guys have made. I wasn't lucky enough to get your earliest stuff, because I kind of got into collecting late into the game, I guess you could say. For me, it actually, I'm almost a year into collecting. So, yourself, KRC, Craft Decor, you guys had all already started making stuff. And I actually had not heard of Tinkerers Cove until I was talking to Ryan Chelly from KRC. And he mentioned when I actually met him face to face for the first time, I guess it was back in March, he came to Galaxy's Edge. And he and I had talked a couple times here and there, because I actually asked him to make a Kyber for me, and with an idea that I had thought of, and he agreed and made it, sent it to me. We got to talking. I started buying more stuff from him, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to be down there. I'd love to meet you. I wanted to meet some of the other fans and my customers that have bought some of the stuff, just to kind of put faces to names and everything." And we met up and started talking to him. And then when I started dabbling and thinking about dabbling, I should say, into making Kybers myself, he then told me the story about how he started talking with you guys and started learning some of the stuff from y'all. And that's how I found out about Tinkerers Cove. Okay, so we know how you kind of got into things. My next question is, where do you get your inspiration and your ideas from? I mean, some of the stuff I've seen you guys have put out is unlike anything else that anybody else has done. Because, I mean, let's face it, most of the Kyber crafters out there, the original ones, some of the newer ones that are coming out, they use the same molds, because we only have literally, if you're going to use Galaxy's Edge style molds, you have three different shapes. That's it. But you guys come up with some of the most unique shapes and designs of anything that I've seen from anybody else. Where do you guys get these ideas, and where's your inspiration come from for what you guys are coming up with?
Funny enough, you mentioned Brian. Like he had said before, Knights of the Old Republic was just a huge childhood memory, one of my top favorite games, hours sunk into it. And that's just where my brain went right out the bat. We did the elementals early on. And it's like, well, what else can we do that we'll probably never see in canon? What are the chances that'll ever happen?
Let's do a crate pearl.
Yeah, that's immediately where my brain went. It's like, let's do the crate dragon pearl. Obviously, that's not going to work with the dimensions we have. So let's try and let's look at the lore. Let's look at the storytelling that's already there, and maybe fluff just a little bit here and there. Add some of our own magic and storytelling there to bring it all about. So that's where the heirloom piece came. It's like, this was the sign of respect amongst the different Tuscan tribes. So they would probably use precious metals to hold it together, and it would be treated as a relic passed down amongst, whoever the most powerful chieftain was. And it was fun kind of brainstorming up that backstory and staying within navigational beacons of canon without breaking anything, but also just kind of adding our own twist.
And that was fun too, because those started off as poured. And so figuring out the shapes we wanted, we did a lot of modeling with clay, a lot of design, just trying to figure out the shapes we wanted. And then here comes Mando.
Yeah.
Now, those are some of the early ones you put out, right? That I unfortunately haven't been able to find. Is that part of that?
Those are the elementals.
Oh, okay.
And the elementals were the first ones that we kind of, when we decided, okay, we want to sell something, what would we want to see? And that's always our guiding question, is what's not out there that we want for ourselves. We don't make anything that we wouldn't want to collect for ourselves. And that's really where we start. Yeah. We start with things that we love and that we like the story behind, the lore behind, and we make it for us. And then if other people like it, that's really gratifying. But at the end of the day, we come. So the elementals were ones we had been having a discussion about some philosophies, and I'm a history teacher, so going into some of the like ideas with Buddhism and Hinduism behind the Force and all of that, and just kind of diving deep into that. And that was one we kind of put together, my experience and his experience with lore from all the different areas, and played around with that. So those are a little bit earlier, but the Pearl he had been working on way before it was mentioned in Mando, and it was almost ready, but there were all these little changes he kept wanting to make.
That was that our first chipped one?
That was, I don't remember. I think it was, yeah. The early Pearls. And then it hit, and we're like, well, guess we're going live now.
Yeah, the funny thing is, those were ready. I had them. I was doing some adjustments, like she said, but I ended up moving towards Heart of the Guardian and Man with the Force. I was like, let's get some old legend stuff together, because, you know, that's more of a niche market. Let's cater to the people that are like us. Let's market towards the collectors and the people that love the stories that aren't ever going to see the light of day under Disney. And we're watching the episode, and I'm like, I know what's going to happen. I've played this before. And the end of the episode, they hold up the Pearl, and I'm just like, all right, well, I guess I need to go dig that out of the bucket, because this is going to have to hurry up and, you know, be released. It was supposed to be later down the line, and just pure luck, I had one ready to go. Just had to cast it and start spinning them out from there. So,
gotcha.
A lot of luck.
Yeah, and we're going to look at those pearls here in just a little bit, because I've got two of them that I got from you when we met that day at Galaxy's Edge that we're going to take a look at. But before we go any further with it, though, I want to look at your new one. I want to go ahead and unpackage the newest one that you've got here that you sent me. So let me go ahead and we'll get this opened up here and take out what you've got for us. So let's see here. All right, let me get positioned because I'm excited about seeing what you've got here. So the first thing that we have is, of course, the card that you sent. Now, I do know that your cards are much larger than everybody else's.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like about it, though, is you've got so much on it that's very valuable. You've got the story, you've got the QR code to your new website that you have that I saw. I mean, there's a lot to it. And what I want to do is go ahead and take a look at that. And I'm going to put this under the Kyber camera so that way we can see. And let me get it brought up here. And, of course, we're going to have a little bit of the ring light that's going to throw it off. Let me see how it looks without the light. It's not any better. Okay. I got to figure out different lighting to be able to do this with. But here is the card that we have, and with the lamination it does kind of throw it off, so I'm going to kind of try to angle it here a little bit. But you've got your logo on the bottom, and then the QR code. There we go. Get that angle. The QR code there that takes you to their website, and then the story behind the Kyber, the sneaking Secura. So give us, we've got the story here, but I want to hear from you. Where did this come from? How, what's the story behind this Kyber?
That one, to be completely honest, was kind of just, we like to see things that are interesting and say, well, what happens if you threw it in a blender with this too? And we were at Animal Kingdom in Pandora looking around. It's like, these kind of remind me of some other settings. And it just kind of, we talked about home decor and how to leverage some things like that and just kind of make some interesting things around the house. And then it's like, what happened if you just stuck a crystal in one? Well, that's weird. How would that work? So we started talking about symbiotic relationships, and the force flows through all living things. That's not just people and animals, but, that's plant life as well. And what if some of the energy from a Kyber crystal was mixed in with the local plant life, and it took on some of the attributes like being more of an infiltrator, being stealthy, doing more of that guerrilla warfare tactic, and that kind of led us to our hero character here, and the namesake. Namesake we went back and forth a little bit on.
We knew who we wanted it to be. It was just playing around with how we were going to title it.
Right. Ayla's Echo was the other one we were looking at, and we're from the South, so like some of the things that came to mind was like some of the more local names for certain plants. Like, that's not what it's actually called, but that's what everybody's grandmother called it, so that's what you call it. So like Sneaking Secura had that alliteration. It had this vine kind of sound to it. Just kind of.
It was a really productive hour and a half standing in line for an Abbey River journey.
It was a nice way to distract ourselves from sweating and wishing the water fountain was just a little bit closer.
Yeah. So. Been in those lines before. I know how that is. Yep. So I want to read for everybody what the card says, so they can kind of, get the background on that as well. And it says, found only in the jungles, Felucia. These newly discovered blossoms radiate with a bright blue shimmer from the crystal fragments within. This union is the first recorded instance of a Kyber crystal symbiotically growing within a living organism in the modern era. Some wish to study this phenomenon, while others worry that it could unleash unknown consequences. Due to this concern and the assumed source of the crystal, many botanical groups have taken to calling the plant by the nickname Sneaking Secura, after the legendary Jedi warrior who made her name as a master of disguise. So that's the story behind it. It comes in this nice little tin case that it looks like, I guess, on the front it's numbered on there, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and get this underneath the camera so that way everybody can see this. And this is how it comes. So this is the tin. You guys were gracious enough to send me number one. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. But I want to see what it looks like inside. You can see through the lens, or through the cover there. So let me get this open and take a look at the Kyber itself. And this is what we have. It's so cute. The size-wise, it's just so cute. So what colors and voices do we get? Do they match the colors-wise? Does it match what we see? Is it green and blue?
So this is going to be single chipped, and it is designed to only fit in the certain orientation. We played around with letting the chip travel. To be blunt, it looked kind of dumb upside down. So we decided let's fix it in one position, let it look like a blossom, and lock it in that way. That's going to give you a blue blade with the voice of Obi-Wan. The idea being, in Order 66, placing out the survival beacon and warning all the other Jedi. That's kind of the last moment of her life, if you will, and that was the closest character tie-in with the the limited choices we have, that was the best we could do to kind of bring the story together.
Okay. Well, I want to kind of turn it here so people can see it. I mean, it's got the I guess it's 4 petals on the side, and as you turn it, you can see that there's 4 petals all around with the crystal growing out of the center. And it's, I mean, honestly, I think it's a very interesting design. The story behind it, I mean, I love when crafters like yourself come up with such unique backstories. You know, the creativity of the backstory it really brings the whole idea to life. And I mean, that's something that's just awesome with the way you guys did that. So I want to go ahead and put it in my Savi's chassis. I never leave my batteries in, just like I say in all my videos, because I don't want to have issues with my equipment being damaged at all. So I have not put this in there, so I'm going to see how it does. And we do have the blue, which is awesome. The design it's just, it looks really cool inside the chassis. I do have to say, I like the way it looks. It's different. It's unique, unlike any other out there. And I mean, for everybody watching, we're going to look at some of the other ones as well here, and just the designs are something. They're something special. Every single one of them has a special uniqueness to it, and I love that.
Thanks.
So, how many are you guys making of this particular Kyber? Is there a limited number, or what are you guys doing?
So we don't do limited runs. We have our very first, just because we ran out of the materials we used for it and we can't find them anywhere. That would be our only limited run, our very first crystals that we did. Everything else we make, we leave open for, if people want it, we believe in having it available to them.
That's awesome.
So we don't have any set numbers of them, but we do have, all of our tins are numbered, and we like to do that as well, just for our own record keeping, if nothing else.
Yeah, we started that with the Knights of the Old Republic ones, just because people ask, like, well, where's mine in the group? It's like, well, it's not. That came up a lot with the Crate Dragon, and we just decided, all right, let's number them. So when we go through and we do a production run, and we chip and we assemble and we get everything ready, and we print out the cards, we number them as we go through. And that kind of helps us know, hey, we're on 17. We know we made 20 of them. Time to start doing another batch. But we're collectors, right? Like, we've got things from all kinds of different fandoms, as you can see behind us. Other makers.
So have I. I know what you're talking about. You see all the stuff back here.
Let's just be honest, right? Like, as a fan, it's disappointing when something you always wanted to have a piece of is finally sold and you don't get it because it's sold out, or people buy 15 of them and scalp them out. Or,
oh gosh, that kills me when I see that.
Or it's like only sold in this one store on a Thursday afternoon, and we got to go to work. It's just, there's enough things in the world that aren't cool, and if you can just have something that's always there for the people that want it, why not do it? We were actually asked this the other day. The only reason we would do a finite run is because we just don't love it anymore. Like, if we get bored doing it, or if materials kind of are harder to get. Like you were saying with the elementals, don't feel bad because we don't have a set either. Those were so whirlwinded, and like the first thing we ever did, it didn't occur to us until after the fact. We never saved one for ourselves. So we don't even have those. I think we have like one or two oddballs floating around, but even we don't have those.
Well, it sounds like it's maybe time to come up with a version 2.0.
Maybe. That was the thing. Those were such
Triple
a royal
pour,
pain.
open face.
Yeah,
and then
I don't even. I haven't even seen pictures of them, so I don't even know what any of them look like. So if anybody watching this has a set of those, I would love it if you send me some pictures, because I would love to see what the designs of those look like, because I've never seen them at all.
We'll probably dig out our old Etsy listing.
Yeah, they're in the old listing, and I think there's some review photos. I want to say one of our early fans, Benji, he's got some out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he's got one in one of the reviews he left. But yeah, they're out there.
I might have to start putting some posts up asking if there's anybody out there that wants to sell the set they've got, so I can get my hands on them.
It'd be funny if we posted the same.
Yeah.
We just want it back, guys. We miss our babies.
Looking for
Anybody
lost
got
children.
an extra set that I can get back that I made? Yeah, that would be an awesome post.
Because I'm not
to
making
see.
them again.
Right.
Awesome. Well, I thank you guys for joining us today to talk to us about these Kybers. If you guys order anything, we have the QR codes for anybody that wants to get to it. Here you go. You can take a little picture, use the QR code to get to their site, and be able to see what they've got available on their Etsy, the Facebook, all that stuff. All the information should be all for those the QR codes on there. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for joining me, guys. I really appreciate it. And
Thank
I'm
you so much
hoping,
for having us.
it's been a pleasure talking with you guys. Anybody that has any questions on it, feel free to send us some messages. If you have any questions on the Kybers, look for their Etsy page. The link will be down in the description below, so you'll be able to see that and be able to get to where you can purchase some of these just unique and awesome looking Kyber crystals. Keep an eye out for new stuff that may come from them here soon. You never know what may get dropped out of nowhere for us as well. So keep an eye on their page. Keep an eye on my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook, all that stuff. We try to get that information and share all of it that we can out for everyone out there. So thanks again for joining us. And on behalf of myself, Korey, Sarah from Tinkerers Cove, we thank you. Smash those like and subscribe buttons for us. We appreciate it, so that way we know that you guys are enjoying what we're doing. And as always, may the Force be with you.